Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about Dungeons & Dragons, Adam Koebel, the creator of Dungeon World, and his path from TRPG Indy to TRPG mainstream. All right, so I was watching Adam Koebel's, specifically I was watching his November vlog, right? Now, let me explain who Adam Koebel is, just in case you don't understand. All right, so Adam Koebel created Dungeon World. He had a co-creator. His name was Sage Latora. Sage Latora really isn't in the RPG game much anymore. Not like Adam Koebel. Adam Koebel is everywhere, man. He goes to all these different cons. He's running his own game online, his own tabletop role-playing game online. He does a ton of TRPG commentary. He is a emerging tabletop role-playing game celebrity, and that is a thing now, right? TRPG celebrities are absolutely a thing. Top of that chain is Matt Mercer, and then I would say below that is Matt Colville, all right, and then you have Adam Koebel's in the mix somewhere there, right? So and it's so that's where we're at, right? So I was watching Adam Koebel's vlog today, and he opened it up by saying, just talking about what he's doing, what his plans are, and then he said that he has recently been playing on, I think he's doing this on Twitch, but on another channel somewhere, he's been playing Magic the Gathering Arena, and then he talked at length about how much he likes the game, right? And then he said, I'd done sponsored content for Magic the Gathering Arena. Ding, 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 ding. Like my alarms went up right away. I was like, whoa, wait, what? Because essentially I was like, okay, I have just witnessed the fundamental nature of the fundamental change in nature of a human being, right? This is a moment, this is an event, right? All right, so, by the way, Adam Koebel built Dungeon World. Dungeon World is the game that took Apocalypse World, which is created by D. Vincent Baker, and made it an accessible, playable rule system. Okay, so once Dungeon World had taken the rules from Apocalypse World and turned it into something accessible and playable, in my opinion, it turned into PBTA, right, which is Powered by the Apocalypse. Powered by the Apocalypse is a system series. It is a rule system that has spurned a series of additional tabletop role-playing games, all running on the same rule system by multiple creators. System series are incredibly rare, and they're important. If you have a system series, it means your rule system is good, attractive, and approachable. It's approachable by players. It's attractive to other designers, and it's good. It works, right? And the reason why is PBTA Powered by the Apocalypse has 30 plus tabletop role-playing games that have been created on that rule system alone, right? And so you have, Apocalypse World, then you have Dungeon World, and then you have 30 other games, right? And so you don't attract, 10, 20 additional tabletop role-playing game creators to create games, freestanding, standalone tabletop role-playing games that are published in separate books, right? You don't do that. You don't attract, these super bright people to your property if your property isn't good. So that is a huge, huge accomplishment for Adam Koebel, and he brought that forward. In my opinion, Adam Koebel is far more responsible for the success of Powered by the Apocalypse than D. Vincent Baker, right? I think Apocalypse World, the rule system in it, was the statue of David. D. Vincent Baker had created the statue of David. Something beautiful, something artistic, right? Something world-class, right? But D. Vincent Baker buried it in his backyard. That was the game Apocalypse World. Apocalypse World was super edgy, controversial, adult, mature, NSFW, whatever terms you want to. And so you had this amazing rule system buried in this very inaccessible, really in many ways, unplayable game, right? And playable by, Dungeons & Dragons can be played by 12-year-olds, right? It's right on the book, right? But, Apocalypse World couldn't be, right? So a mother can't introduce her, like a mother can introduce her daughter to Dungeons and Dragons. A mother can't really, a mother really can't introduce her 12-year-old daughter to, PBTA through Apocalypse World. You can't do it, right? So it was really a big deal that Adam Koebel made Dungeon World. It's a very big deal within the tabletop role-playing game community. Now, let's talk about Adam Koebel for a minute. Adam Koebel is really unique. He has pink hair and a nose ring, right? And he is like rock star cool, right? All right, now, what's that got to do with anything? Well, it has to do with something, right? And I'll talk about it today. Well, he's Indy, right? So like, Apocalypse World was very edgy and very indie tabletop role-playing game. Dungeon World was very edgy, very indie, right? Blades in the Dark is made by John Harper. John Harper is friends with Adam Koebel, right? These two guys are some of the best tabletop role-playing game designers in the world. Oh, and guess who John Harper knows, and guess who Adam Koebel knows? They know Luke Crane, who made Mouse Guard and Burning Wheel. These are deep-cut, super cool, edgy, indie tabletop role-playing games. So, until yesterday, right, until he started making sponsored content for Wizards of the Coast, Adam Koebel was a card-carrying, cool member of the indie TRPG scene, right? Well, here's the thing. He's not part of that card's getting yanked, right? Because he is no longer indie. He is no longer independent, right? And so now that's a bold statement. I need to back that up with some facts, right? So here's the issue, right? So I was listening to what Adam Koebel was saying about Magic the Gathering Arena, right? Until he said sponsored content, right? And then as soon as he said that, I immediately shut off listening to him about MTG Arena, right? And the reality is, here's why. It has nothing to do with Adam Koebel or his integrity or anything like that. I think, by the way, I think it's a good thing that, I'm not going to bury the lead here. I think it's a good thing that Adam Koebel has gone from indie to has gone from indie to mainstream. Here's why. It's good for Adam. He's got to feed himself. We're going to get to that in a minute. Sponsored means money, right? Right. And then it's also good for us, for the tabletop role-playing game community, because he's an amazing, he really is one of the best game designers in the world. Adam Koebel is one of the best tabletop role-playing game designers in the world, without a doubt. All right, okay. He stands next to John Harper, Luke Crane, Adam Koebel, Anna Creeder. Like, he runs with the big dogs, right? Like, when it comes to TRPG design, right? And creation and completion and production, right? Like, he definitely really runs with those guys, okay? All right, so here's the thing. So basically, but why is he mainstream now, right? Well, he was talking about Magic the Gathering Arena, which is it's a video game based on Wizards of the Coast Magic the Gathering game, right? And so you got this situation where you're dealing with sponsored content, right? So the reality is, here's how sponsored content works, in my opinion, right? So let's say that I give you a hat, right? I just give you a hat, right? And you say, oh, hey, thanks for this nice hat, right? But hey, wait, don't go anywhere. You handed me this hat on a solid gold plate, right? Here's your solid gold plate back, right? And I'm like, no. You keep that solid gold plate, right? It's heavy, but I want you to have that solid gold plate. And then you're like, oh, well, thanks for the hat and the solid gold plate, right? And then you go home with the hat and your new solid gold plate, right? Which will help you solve 25 problems. If your roof is leaking, maybe now your roof ain't going to have to leak because you're going to sell that solid gold plate, right? So, and then the next day, your friend comes and says, hey, how do you like that hat? Right? Right? Your ability to comment on that hat is a little suspect, right? Your opinion of the hat might be changed by the fact that it was presented to you and given to you on a solid gold plate, right? So so when it comes to sponsored content, I don't listen to sponsored content the way I listen to someone who is reviewing something that they have no connection to the company. You know, like if they went, you know, if somebody just goes out and buys a product on their own and has absolutely no connection to that company, they're independent. They're literally independent. Their interests are not commingled with the company that is now doing sponsored content with them. But here's the issue. Adam Koebel, until literally like yesterday, a super cool card-carrying member of the Indy TRPG scene, is not so, that card is definitely in question. If that's still in his wallet, I'm not sure it should be there, right? Because the reality is, his interests are now incredibly commingled with Wizards of the Coast, right? Here's why, okay? So he creates tabletop role-playing games, right? Adam Koebel creates tabletop role-playing games, right? And he is a streamer, he's a commentator, like he's deep in the game, right? Right. So you know, when I say game, I mean the tabletop role-playing game industry game, right? And not just Dungeons and Dragons. But he does do Dungeons and Dragons streaming as well, right? So here's the thing, right? If you know, basically, here's how commingled his interests are, right? So at this point, he is being sponsored to play a video game. You know how many people want that job? There's quite a few, right? Right. So that really helps, right? The other thing is, he has done interviews previously with Mike Mearls, right? Now, I saw him on doing interviews with Mike Mearls, and he threw down with Mike Mearls. He was like, you know, this is like months and months and months ago, where like he would just, you know, throw out whatever question he want, make whatever comment he want. He had no qualms about saying an ill will toward an ill word toward Dungeons and Dragons, because he's Indy, right? He's Indy. He's hardcore Indy. Dude's got pink hair and a nose ring. He's Indy, right? And he could mix it up with Mike Mearls because he had his own game. He's standing on his own 2 feet, right? But now, you know, money is flowing from Mike Mearls' say-so authorization, right? Now, actually, it's from a different pool. Right? So actually, Mike Mearls isn't paying him direct. But the company that Wizards of the Coast is owned by Hasbro. Hasbro owns Magic the Gathering. So that company, he now has a relationship with that company, right? And guess what? Mike Mearls, leader of the Dungeons & Dragons design team, just announced that he has openings on his team, right? Wait, you know, Adam Koebel, the dude who you're now paying to play video games, who just happens to be a TRPG designer, and you have openings on your team? That's fascinating, right? Like, you know, like, and then also, he is a streamer, right? Well, guess what's about to drop, right? Guilds of Ravnica setting book, which if he gets early access to it, he could run it a week or 2 or 3 weeks earlier than anybody else has the book. That is huge, man. That helps his community. That helps his own streaming community, right? That helps his, you know, that is a big deal, right? So Adam Koebel now has interests that are incredibly commingled with Wizards of the Coast and with Dungeons and Dragons. All right, so a couple things. One, in my opinion, we have seen Indy to mainstream. So Adam Koebel is no longer part of the Indy, because I don't think you cannot be both, right? You can't be part of the mainstream and part of Indy. It don't work that way. Mainstream will have Indy people, but Indy don't have mainstream people, right? Like, that's the point of Indy, is you're independent. You're like, you know, cool, like, you know, leaning against the wall type, right? You know what I mean? Like, you don't want, like, Mike Mearls. I love Mike Mearls as a game designer. He is peerless, right? Like, except for Gygax, right? Like, what he did with 5th edition is Tundra Wolf style epic, right? It is just, he did the best possible job with that, right? Fantastic. Super dig what he accomplished, right? But that dude looks like a junior high school principal, right? Like, you know, he is super mainstream, right? And there's a reason for that, right? He is connected to a intellectual property that is worth tens of millions. That's a fact, right? And in my opinion, is worth billions, right? So you need a dude or a lady who looks like a junior high principal, right? And Mike Mearls fulfills that, right? So that's my point, is this is a big deal that Adam Koebel is going from the indie to the mainstream, right? Because it's a change, right? And it signals a lot, right? If Adam Koebel is hired by Wizards of the Coast to join the Dungeons & Dragons design team, that changes the future for everybody listening to this video. That changes the future of Dungeons & Dragons. That changes what Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition is going to look like, right? That changes the world, right? Our IRL world, because Dungeons & Dragons changes our IRL world. And if you don't understand that, you're not paying attention. It absolutely impacts American politics, culture, and society, right? And it is also impacted by American culture and politics, culture, and society. There's a lot going on with Dungeons & Dragons. So that's my point. Now, Indy card revoked. Here's your mainstream TRPG scene membership card, right? Adam, welcome to the club, right? I'm not in that club. I'm just saying, like, essentially my girls would be saying that. Okay? All right, so actually now, last thing I'm gonna, just one of the last few things I'm gonna say about this. This is great. This is great for everybody, right? One, Adam Koebel has been working very, very hard. It is incredibly difficult to make it and work full time in the TRPG industry. In fact, as an indie TRPG game maker, it is almost impossible. It is almost impossible, right? I think Fred Hicks is like over on Fate is probably the only real indie TRPG creator, in my opinion, that is actually. But even they're connected to Dresden, like, and that's connected to a massive publisher. That's not real indie if you're connected to a massive publisher from New York, right? So even that. So my point is, it is insanely difficult to make it, full time in this industry as an indie creator. It's incredibly difficult, right? And so I think it's really cool that Adam Koebel is getting this sponsored content. He deserves that money. He deserves to have the ability to make content more easily because he can feed himself, right? Like, he's worked hard and he deserves what he's getting from Wizards of the Coast. Every dime, right? Every dollar. Okay, second, we are all going to benefit. Like I said, Adam Koebel is a genius in his own right. But not only is he a genius in his own right and a pure, awesome TRPG designer in his own right, he's got access to Luke Crane, Vincent Baker, and John Harper, right? These are, and I don't know if he knows Anna Creeder. Wait, he should know Anna Creeder, and the reason why is John Harper works for Fate, and Anna Creeder has created a Fate game. No, it's Powered by Apocalypse. There's a good chance that Adam Koebel knows, just by the Venn diagrams, like, there's a good chance he would know Anna Creeder. I don't know if he knows Anna Creeder or not. But even Anna Creeder. So not only does he have all these brilliant ideas in his own head, but, when you hire a person like that, and they're going to be they're going to be designing Dungeons & Dragons 6th edition, they're going to talk to their friends about that. Come on, right? So you could have all these ideas coming in from the very cream of the crop of indie, right? Of indie TRPGs. So I'm incredibly excited that Adam Koebel's indie days are done and his mainstream days are here, right? And I really am excited to see what that's going to do for Adam Koebel, what that's going to do for the TRPG community, what's that going to do for the Dungeons & Dragons community. I'm curious of what you think. Please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you.